The engine's back, but we have a few issues. For one, there's a couple bent bolts that attach a cap to a rod. Got the bolts that I needed out of one of the ends of their rods. Got the rocker shafts and assemblies just in case I need them. Going to have to drop off this cap at the machine shop and have them press the bolts out of it. That's what the guy suggested who was working on the camshaft replacement, which you can see here. All new, all lubed up. So that's what I'm going to do. We'll see how that goes. Arrow. Here you can see the new bearing installed. And these bolts are stuck in here. I don't really know how that happened, but that is the situation. I don't know. He said my crank was fine, but I feel grooves in it. I think it could use a polish. Not sure if I'm satisfied with that. I just don't know what I want to do. It's disappointing when you give somebody a job to do and they just do it halfway. So with just this one, I'm going back and forth here. My fingernail is catching on lines here. I think this crank needs polished. I don't think you're supposed to feel anything. Which makes me then wonder about the mains. Are the mains okay? So we need to have a little talk. Pulled this cap off because he said he couldn't get the bolts out of here, and he also couldn't tighten them down, so he assumed the bolts are bent. If we take him for his word, we get these pressed out, we put in new bolts, we'll be okay. But because of that, I took the time to, as you saw, check this. I run my finger across it and I feel my nail easily catches scratches in this rod, or in this crank. So then I start looking at the old bearings that thankfully he gave me back. And look at this. Look at this. There is no way that he didn't pull that apart, look at the crank, and see the amount of damage that this would have caused. It's gotta be, I'm guessing the crank needs reground. Instead, he installed all the bearings and brought it back to me. Status is, I can see wear on these brand new bearings that were installed. Pulled everything out, and the crank is getting a regrind. I'm going to do oversized bearings. So, yet another delay. Thought I was going to have it running and driving this week, but nope. I did get the oil pan cleaned up really nicely. So I went to the machine shop and they said it definitely needs a regrind. So I dropped it off. They're going to regrind it. I'm going to get oversized bearings and should have it back in about a week.